Good morning. I'm Julio Saenz along with Mauricio Riveros. Today we meet Victor Pacheco, owner of Los Gallos Mexican Grill, and hear how he built a successful business in Greece.
We hope you will be inspired.
Celebrating leaders in Rochester's unique and vibrant business community. We'll meet entrepreneurs whose passion and perseverance have helped push through life's challenges. Join us as we share their stories and journeys to success. It's time to be inspired.
Hi, Victor. Thank you very much for being Be Inspired, a show that we developed to interview entrepreneurs, people like you, who take the risk and now they are developing a business, in your case, a restaurant. And we are excited to have you here today. So let's start to learn who is Victor Pacheco.
How you doing, Mauricio? Thank you for having me on your show. Victor Pacheco, well, it's very complicated. I think I'm a unique person. I try to be inspired by a lot of things in life. Well, my most inspiration was my mom, it told me to push on and try to be the best of myself. My in life, I got to meet a lot of exciting new people. I try to learn different things from different people, different cultures, different backgrounds, and get to know a lot of people and get to have a lot of friends from different cultures and nationalities. So
that is powerful, Victor. So you are very international. So you are actually originally from Guatemala. So tell us a little bit that part of your life, and then we can talk about the restaurant.
Well, I was born in Guatemala in '81. A small, very, very small town. Probably population back then was probably about 500 people. So there wasn't much to do, and so back in about when I was 8 years old, I came to Rhode Island. We lived there for 5 years. Then we moved to South Carolina. From South Carolina, I left to Ohio, ended up in Buffalo, and then here in Rochester. So it's a long journey. So I live a little bit everywhere.
And tell us, so how did you start? Tell us a little bit about how you decided to start your restaurant here in Rochester and what it's about, what it's like.
Well, I've been working in the restaurant business since '98. I work in South Carolina in a restaurant, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Then I moved to Ohio, work in another restaurant. I came to Buffalo and started working in a restaurant. And brother-in-law told me, look, do you want to get into the restaurant business? And I was like, well, why not? Let's give it a try. So it's been a very fun, challenging experience to work and have your own restaurant. You get to meet a lot of exciting people, very exciting people. You get to meet a lot of people, all kinds of backgrounds, all kind of cultures, beliefs, and probably the most beautiful thing about working and having your own business is you get to meet a lot of exciting people. It hasn't been easy. It comes with challenges. Every day is a new, exciting and challenging day to work in a restaurant. So, but it is fun.
Tell us a little bit about the restaurant and what do you do in the restaurant? What type of dishes you have? Tell us the name of the restaurant. A little bit about what type of food do you offer?
Well, you'd be surprised. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's located at 2700 West Rich Road in Greece, New York. Well, and we have about 120 dishes, all the way from rice, beans, normal stuff that you find in any typical Mexican restaurant. We have a little bit of everything for everybody. I mean, fajitas, quesadillas, molcajete, cheese sauce, homemade guacamole. Um, we take pride that we make everything in house. Everything. I mean, the only thing we don't make in the house is probably the syrup for the sodas, but everything is homemade. So
Okay, so we're talking about food. That's my favorite subject. Just curious, because we know how much, Americans and folks in the United States have grown to love Mexican food. I'm just curious, What would you say are the 2 or 3 most popular dishes in your restaurant?
Probably right now it'd be the fajitas are number one, the molcajetes number two, and probably the enchiladas suizas number three.
And what's a morcajete? I'm not. What is that?
Well, molcajete probably be surprised. We did probably the first ones that introduced molcajete mexicano as a typical dish in Mexico. Uh, is serving a volcano rock curve into a bowl, and it comes with tomatillo sauce, grilled onions, grilled cactus, cheese, shrimp, chicken, steak, more cheese, um, grilled jalapeno, rice and beans on the side, and tortillas. So it's an exciting dish to have, unique experience, you know. So
Wow, that's really unique, and that's awesome as you are innovating the dishes and creating new flavors and new experience for your clients. And now let's talk about COVID. COVID has impacted significantly your industry. So tell us how you were able to, navigate in these new circumstances and new conditions. So let's talk a little bit about COVID.
well, whenever the virus came, it was hard. I think for everybody that runs, owns, and have any influence in the restaurant business, it was very hard. We were forced to shut down to help the spread of coronavirus. And what kept us going was the community. A lot of people help us, support us. The town agrees we're very helpful. Everybody around the area, Greece and surrounding areas, everybody was very helpful. They supported us, helped us. Back then, whenever the PPA loan came, we applied for it, but we didn't get it. So unfortunately, but thanks, everybody and every person that came to the restaurant and supported us. That's what kept us alive. Because after we were closed, it probably affected about 80% of the business, 80 to 85% of the business. I mean, there were days you were wondering if you're gonna shut your doors down or you were keep going. Every day was a blessing to stay open. So right now we have 50% capacity. Follow the guidelines of the government issue. So it's been a struggle every day. With increased prices or everything going up, it was very hard to maintain our doors open. But here we are. It's a challenging day, and like I said, every day is just challenging to see the outcome of the virus. So trying to maintain our doors open is very hard.
So when it comes to being a business person, who is that person, or maybe it's more than one person that inspires your style of leadership that makes you keep going the way you've done? Who is that inspires you?
Well, my inspiration was my mom. She passed away last year from the virus. Unfortunately, she got hit by the coronavirus and she lost her life to the virus. Probably my mom is one of them. Then my kids, and among other people that helped me, push me through the worst situation. Pandemic was hard. Around the same time, losing my mom, so it was very hard to stay open back in June, July of last year. So probably mom, I would say top is my mom. That always taught me to fight, keep going no matter what. Keep motivation for my kids. The future. So try to fight a little bit every day.
Victor, I'm sorry about your mom and many people who have suffered the consequence of this terrible virus. And talking about the experience of working in a family-owned business and be able to create a culture with your workers, co-workers, overcoming the situations that right now we're facing with the virus. My question is, what type of culture your restaurant has? How you keep everybody bonding together? You talk about community and the support. Seems like you have developed a good relationships. So talk a little bit about that and what's the magic that makes that works.
Well, the magic of any small family-owned business is, you get to know the customers. Some of them by names, some of them by the orders, and you know, you get to talk to them. Sometimes it's better to talk to somebody and get to know them a little bit more. You know, every customer that comes in there has you know, their own personal experience. You know, their own happiness, their own life, and their own personal opinion about why they keep coming back. You know, some of them is because they like the atmosphere. Other people is because they like the way they get treated. Other people is because they like the flavor. Everybody has a different reason why they keep coming back, but a lot of people keep coming back because, you know, they've been doing it we've been almost there for 11 years already. We've been in the same place for 11 years, you know. We've seen kids coming there, now they're grown up or have their own kids. I mean, we've seen second generations of babies that, you know, get introduced by our food, you know. And then we nearly have probably almost half of the staff of people that be working there for 7 or 8 years, you know. So everybody gets to know everybody, or, you know, people get to know the waiters or the managers or, you know, some of the cooks by name already. So because they've been coming there for so long, you know.
Yeah, and actually that leads right into my question, which is building off of that one, which is I'm amazed and I'm happy to hear you've had the same staff, some of the same staff for so long. You know, what's your process for hiring the right person? Because we know one person can screw up a business. And then what advice would you give to other business owners on how to pick good employees?
Well, it's hard to say we're going to pick a good employee, you know. I mean, in this industry, it's some of them, you know, working as a waitress or a waiter, as a dishwashers. You know, some people see it as a professionally. Other people just see it just, you know, working through a job while you get a better job, or something while you're going to school, or getting your degree, or just, you know, something to have you on your feet. But it's, you know, everybody is different because it's hard to find somebody to say, you know, people don't come with a symbol that says I'm a good employee or I'm a bad employee. You got to give them a shot, you know. You know, you got to give everybody a shot. You know, some people are wonderful, other people weren't born to be in the restaurant industry. You know, it takes you know, a lot of strength, a lot of pressure to work in the, you know, food industry. You know, so you got to be friendly. You got to be, you know, ambitious to go out there and talk to everybody. You know, but it is I would say just give everybody a fair shot. You know.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Victor. We'll be back with more after these messages. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the technology. You know, as we talk about how COVID has made companies have to change the way they do business. Can you tell us how you're using technology at all? Can people order online? Are they using any of these apps for deliveries? How are you using that in the business?
Well, we were forced to use, you know, one of the food apps. You know, we had to sign up with Grubhub and DoorDash just to stay afloat. You know, to keep people on payroll, to keep them going. Um, we wanted to hire somebody as a driver, but on the long run, whenever we use, they gave us a 30-day free trial, so it came out to be real good. You know. So it helped a little bit. It helps. They keep a good portion of the sales, but, you know, just to bring your name and to stay your doors open and just to have people on the payroll. That's the main reason we do it. You know, just to, you know, have a paycheck for somebody. You know. So I mean, we were forced to use them, and technology, it has come a long way. So I think with the apps, it helps everybody, especially today with snow going on. Nobody wants to go outside, so they use a third-party app to order the food. So it's understandable, you know. It's very hard. You want to have your food, also you don't want to drive outside, so you let somebody else do it for you. But
That's very important, Victor, to adapt when change happen. Adapting is very important, recreating yourself. And I know right now it's very hard to ask this question, but I always, when I talk with business people, I talk about vision and plan and how do you see your restaurant in the years to come? What's that vision that you are pursuing? Are you planning to expand, to maintain? And I know it's very hard right now to answer because it's that you are passing through a very difficult time. But what's the vision in the long term of your restaurant?
Well, I think everybody seeks to have more than what they have, spend a little bit. But right now, we are in surviving mode. I mean, we just, like I said, again, it's a blessing every day just to be open. But I mean, we wish to maintain where we are, keep going, hopefully continue being here in 10 more years, probably down the future, I can pass it down to one of my kids. And so they can continue the generation of having somebody in the business, keep going. If not, well, we're going to try into, we no longer can, we're going to try to be positive about staying open. And if we can in the future, probably try to spend a little bit, probably one more wouldn't be bad. So whatever God wants to give us, we take it.
Excellent. I think that's very important, Victor. Now, let's talk about Rochester. And actually, when we talk about Rochester, I'm talking about all this county and the metropolitan area and all that. Seems like there is a more and more penetration of international food. People are studying different type of foods from different countries. What's your experience in terms of the Mexican food and how the Mexican food is penetrating more and more different communities here in Rochester? What do you see? Do you see a tendency that people now are really more familiarized with the Mexican food and be able to experience that type of food? What's your take on that? Because you saw a lot. You saw a big transformation probably, and I want to learn from your experience. What was that transformation? In some point, people were saying, well, what is an enchilada? And now everybody talks about enchiladas. So let's talk a little bit about that transition, Victor.
Well, in many cultures, I mean, including Mexican food, if you never heard of it or seen it yourself, you let somebody else tell you what it is, let me give you an example. I mean, whenever I'm not eating my own food, I have, Puerto Rican food. I never had a pernil. I was like, what is a pernil? So then I got to try some. I like it. The same thing with Mexican food. The only problem about it is some people believe that chain restaurants that sell Mexican food, or they call it Mexican food, they think everybody cooks the same way. And some people have a good experience, other people have bad experience with that, and they believe that everybody cooks the same way. Oh, people, whenever they hear Mexican food, the first thing they say, oh, well, it's too spicy. Not everything's made, is spicy. Probably unless you ask it to be spicy, it's going to be spicy. But otherwise, you know, most of the food that we cook is probably 95% is not spicy at all, because a lot of people can't take it as spicy food, And believe it or not, I would say about 40% of Hispanic people in Mexico that I know, they don't eat spicy food at all. So, but I mean, most of the people like it, it has a nice kick to it. So a lot of people think they like spicy food for the same reason. But our dishes are not, because some people either don't like it or can't have it. So we like to have it mild.
Now we're almost done with the show, but I did want to ask you if you could tell us in a few words, what's been the best part of owning this restaurant for the last 11 years?
The people, the community, Greece, and the surrounding areas, Rochester, people from City Hall, fire department, and police department. Everybody's been very helpful. Whenever we started the business, City Hall was very helpful to us, and That being the best part of owning a business, getting to meet people from Rochester and the surrounding area, especially Greece.
Wow, Victor, what a interesting experience. Being born in Guatemala, grew up here in Rochester, in different places, and then come to Rochester and open your own restaurant and build a family-owned business. You are that expression of, what our community does. Is really people who are entrepreneurs take the risk, and right now you are passing through difficult times because it's difficult for everybody, but it's really excited to see what you are doing. And thank you so much for your contribution to this community. That's what makes Rochester and all this region so important, because we are people with different backgrounds and different views. And that's what I think makes this place a very, very rich place. So thank you, Victor, for your time. We really appreciate it. And I'm sure that we will have you in the future. So if you can say again the name of your restaurant and the location.
It is Los Gallos Mexican Grill, 2700 West Ridge Road in Greece.
Coming up next week on Be Inspired, we'll meet Jake Koch, owner of Triton Mechanical.
To watch today's episode and the complete interviews of our guests, go to rochesterfirst.com/beinspired. For more great talk with Rochester's entrepreneurs, listen to Bodette 97.1 Saturdays at 9 a.m. For Mauricio Riveros, I'm Julio Saenz. We'll see you next week on Be Inspired.